Motherhood can be exciting. It can be a blessing. It can be a dream come true. But for 1 in 5 new mothers, it can be something else entirely.
Oh, I guess something's really wrong.
Women all over the world suffer from this, and it can occur to anybody.
There's a lot of surprises, a lot of things that nobody can prepare you for.
This singular thought just kept playing in my mind, which was, this girl would be better off with another woman as her mother.
I wanted a baby my whole life, and all of a sudden I have her, and they bring her over to me, and I'm like frozen.
I was very quiet and withdrawn. I thought, well, I can't tell anybody my secret.
The sleep deprivation was starting to get to her, and she took her own life.
I put a pillow over her face and just held it there until she stopped struggling.
How do we help these women from going through this?
That's why we're doing this, to educate.
We have a chance to make a difference and maybe save someone's life.
I felt like it was my fault because I didn't educate myself more.
Part of the depression is the guilt that goes along with it.
There's still so much stigma.
I think people forget that mental health is a sickness of the brain.
It's a huge issue that is not discussed.
We weren't made aware of all the risk factors, and Kelly actually had a lot of them.
Doctors are seeing more patients. It's easy for people to slip through the cracks.
When you hear about these things and you hear about how many red flags were up, it's shocking that we don't look at postpartum as something that's legitimate.
Everybody keeps a lid on it because of shame or fear or judgment, but it's amazing when you share how many stories you'll hear back.
It's so scary when you're in it, but it does shift.
Like, wow, I'm not the only one, I'm not the first, I won't be the last.
I'm proud of her for speaking up, because that takes a lot of strength.
If my wife's death can result in the prevention of other deaths, at least it wasn't in vain.
To be able to change the course of someone's life by just sharing my story, you can't even put it to words.
دوستان به برنامه مادر و کودک خوش آمدید. Welcome to MomTalk. برنامه‌ای که امروز برای شما تهیه کردیم برنامه بسیار پربار هست برای آن مادرانی که پس از زایمان دچار افسردگی میشند و از قصه ها و داستان های این مادرانی که یا خودشون رنج و عذاب کشیدن یا فرزندانشون رنج و عذاب کشیدن یا در بحران افسردگی پس از زایمان اون چالش ها و مشکلات سختی رو در خانواده طی کردن. با شما هستیم در این برنامه پرودیوسر و کریتیو تات، کسی که این موضوع و این مبحث و این فیلم مستند رو برای شما پرودیوس کرده با ما هستش. از دوستان گرامی دوست عزیزم Tanya Newbould. Tanya, welcome to MomTalk.
Thank you so much for having me, Nelly.
How moving. I mean, I get goosebumps and it really brings to life the realness, this real shared narrative approach of women, us moms, who have either experienced this type of depression, mild or severe, postpartum, after birth. And it is such an honor to have you here to share your story and your production and what you are taking on as your warrior mom mission to raise awareness.
Well, it's something when I had my daughter, I was so excited to have a baby. I got pregnant naturally and had her and thought, oh my gosh, I have a baby. And then I had her and about 3 weeks into it, I completely shut down and disconnected and was so scared. I couldn't sleep, I had trouble eating, I wanted to just get away. And here I had this beautiful baby that I loved, there was no question about that, but I didn't know how to connect. And it was really, there's so much shame and embarrassment around that. When you see, I remember going to the mall because I just wanted to be by myself and seeing all these moms there with little babies and they're holding them and connecting, and just tears rolling down my face thinking, why don't I want to do that?
Yeah.
So as time went by and I would call like the pediatrician office or call someone, they'd say, oh, just go for a walk. You just need to go for a walk. Well, I remember loading up my baby, going for a walk, and then she started screaming and being like, I can't do this, and just hiding in my house. And one of the things that I feel happens when we have babies is our friends, a lot of them tend to be like, oh, you have a baby, I'm going to let you settle in. The reality is, we need people, we need community. My husband worked, he took care of the family, that's what his role is, and that's what he did. I'm an only child, I don't have family here, so I suddenly went from being a very social person to feeling completely isolated.
Yeah.
And very frightened, and was not myself at all. And it got worse and worse and worse, and a couple of people who knew me got very frightened, like, what's wrong with you? And I didn't know what was wrong with me. Then someone had given me the book, Down Came the Rain by Brooke Shields, and I read it, and it was the first time, and I remember Ava was 4.5 months old, and I went, oh my gosh, I have postpartum depression. Well, the interesting thing is I started to do research on it. I couldn't find anything, and I was so surprised by that. And at the time, I also happened to be interviewed for a documentary called Die Trying by this amazing director, Jamie Lynn Littman. I loved her, and I said, you know what? There needs to be a documentary on postpartum depression, and I want you to be the director. She said, well, I don't know. She had a 4-month-old baby. She goes, I don't have it, but let me look into it, and I'll get back to you. So she got back to me. She said, oh my gosh, you're right, there's no information. She put out a post on a mommy blog. Within 24 hours, had 100 responses.
Wow.
So we knew, like, okay, this is real.
This is real.
And we started our journey. She created the format. She did an amazing job. And along the way, we interviewed Lindsay Gerst, who's just this amazing woman, and she shared her story. And then she also came on board and became a producer. So we follow Lindsay throughout the film, who's still currently seeking treatment. And we have testimonies, and we have all sorts of really powerful, different variations. I would say that the A story is the testimonies, and then the B story is 3 moms making a movie, and the C story is following Lindsay throughout. I always knew I wanted Brooke Shields to narrate it because of her book, and we got her, and she not only narrated it, but she's also executive produced it with us.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. So here we are. برای شما بینندگان گرامی که با ما هستید، قصه زندگی مادری که خود ایشون پرودیوسر هستن، هنرپیشه هستن و کسی هستن که تو فیلم خیلی کار میکردن قبل از اینکه بچه دار بشن. در هنگامی که بچه دار میشن و 3-4 ماه بعد از زایمانشون میبینن که اون حس نزدیکی یا اون باند یا اون نزدیکی که با فرزندشون داشتن دیگه ندارن و اینجاست که اون انتویشنشون، اون انگیزه و غریزه درونیشون بهشون میگه که یه اتفاقی افتاده که طبیعی نیست و دچار چالش یا مشکل روحی روانی هستن و پیدیاتریشن هم زیاد کمک نمیکنه و این شاید رایج باشه. من میدونم با کلاینت های خودم که کار میکنم خیلی از اوقات پیدیاتریشن اونقدر کمک نمیکنن مادرانی که پستپارتم دپرشن دارن یا بهشون اطلاعات دقیق نمیدن. بنابراین اگر که شما بعد از زایمان دچار افسردگی هستین، بدونین که یه چیزی هست به اسم postpartum depression. البته postpartum blues خیلی طبیعی هستش و خیلی از ماها بعد از زایمان، خیلی از ما مادران بعد از زایمان دچار یک افسردگی افسردگی خفیفی میشیم. ولی اگر این افسردگی خفیف شدیدتر هستش و بیشتر شما احساس بریدگی یا جدایی از کودکتون یا نوزادتون میکنین، این postpartum depression هست. این حالت تانیا به خوبی اون رو تشخیص داد در خودش، به خاطر اینکه خودش آگاهی داره از خودش و awareness داره از خودش و نه تنها این رو تشخیص داد بلکه تصمیم گرفت اقدام بکنه، چون او رفت دنبال اینکه جستجو بکنه ببینه که چیکار باید بکنه و دید که اطلاعات خیلی کم هستش و خیلی ها به خاطر شرم یا به خاطر اون شیم یا خجالتی که میکشن دربارش صحبت نمی کنن. پس او تصمیم گرفت که to raise awareness و یه پروژه‌ای رو در دست گرفت، این فیلم سینمایی رو در دست گرفت و گفتش که من میتونم از کرافتسم، از این هنری که دارم استفاده بکنم، فیلمی رو تهیه بکنم که خیلی از مادران رو مثل شما کمک بکنم و این فیلمی هستش که میبینین و are you thinking about adding subtitles for perhaps Farsi-speaking audience or other languages?
Absolutely,
Wonderful.
and that's what we're in the process of right now, closed captioning, and then also making this so that it can go to many, many different countries.
Wonderful.
Because I think this is a universal issue. It doesn't just happen in the United States, it happens everywhere. And this will become a timeless film because unfortunately 1 in 5 women are affected. Women have babies every day. So this is an issue that's not going anywhere, but if we can raise awareness, and it's very important for the whole family to see this.
Yes. Yes, 1 in every 5 از هر 5 خانواده در تمام دنیا. This is global. So 1 from every 5 family is suffering from depression. And imagine the depression, how it impacts the relationships, the mother-child, the family relationships, and how it brings suffering to a lot of families. So if we raise awareness, if we can get help or raise awareness or maybe by creating these communities that you are leading with your movement and your project, that we can bring those moms together and learn how to help each other.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's so important. And being someone who went through it firsthand, and Lindsay who went through it and is still finding her way through, it's so isolating. And so I want to say to every woman who's watching this, reach out, don't keep it to yourself. Call a friend, call someone you feel safe. If it's not your husband, and if it's not your mom or a family member, a friend, but don't keep it inside.
و شاید برای خیلی از ماها ایرانیان به خصوص you know in our culture there is this you know communication habit to keep certain things private, to keep it close to the sort of inner circle of family members. But I think what you're raising awareness and this important message that in connecting and communicating and opening up your heart and those lines of communication, reaching out to other moms. وقتی که شما به عنوان یک مادری که این حس تنهایی افسردگی رو میکنی، دلتون رو باز میکنین و با یه مادر دیگه‌ای که شاید او هم افسرده هست یا او هم نیاز داره گفتگو میکنین، این گفتگویی و این رابطه برای هر دوی شما خوب هستش. So in reaching out to get help or connecting with another mom, you will soon realize that that connection or that relationship is what's going to heal you and perhaps the other mom. So it's really a good thing. This is one of those situations or examples. این از اون اوقاتی هستش که با باز کردن دلتون و قلبتون و باز بودن در رابطه میتونین کمک بکنین. بنابراین خجالت نکشین، احساس شرم نکنین. 1 در 5 یعنی خیلی خانواده‌هایی که دورتون رو میبینین یا میشناسین بشمرین، از هر 5 خانواده 1 خانواده دچار این مشکل هستش. بنابراین خجالت نکشین، احساس گناه نکنین، صحبت بکنین با هم دیگه. برای این هستش که این مام تاک یا مامی گروپ ها یا واریر مام ترایبایی که تشکیل میدین خیلی میتونه شما رو کمک بکنه. من میدونم که با تمام مادرها من جمله خودم I know this has been healing for me. I know you're sharing that it's healing for you.
Very much
when we
so.
talk and we connect and we have relationships with our mommy friends.
Absolutely, and you realize you're not alone.
Yes.
You're not the only one going through it. And also, too, we have a wonderful Facebook page, When the Bowel Breaks. And Lindsay is amazing. Anyone who writes in who is going through something, she answers it. So we're trying to change the world and create a community where women are safe to share their deepest, darkest fears, because there is so much shame and embarrassment around it. And it takes a lot of healing. And to realize, but you know what, there are no mistakes. We go through things, it's part of our growth. Our children choose us to come into this world, and they know too. So if you have experienced it, if it's something that you've gone through, don't hold on to it.
Right. So the worst thing you can do is hold on to it, isolate yourself, and avoid any type of connection or relationship. The best thing you can do is acknowledge, be aware of it, right? Surrender and say, okay, so this is an experience, it's an emotional experience that I'm having, I'm feeling, and it's part of your consciousness or my consciousness, and allow the relationship or the communication with others to heal you, and that you will be able to heal others through that growth journey. باز بودن شما در این پروسه بسیار بسیار کمک میکنه به دیگران و به خودتون. بنابراین وقتی که من میگم که الان احساس افسردگی میکنم یا با فرزندم یا نوزادم اون رابطه نزدیک و حس نمیکنم، این یک واقعیته که شما با باز کردن این واقعیت میتونین به یک مادر دیگه کمک بکنین که اون هم شاید با تجربه افسردگی که داره در این دوران پس از زایمان میتونه بگه که منم همینطور، پس این طبیعیه یا عادی یا شاید بیشتر از اون چیزی که فکر میکنیم طبیعی و عادی هستش. نه، بنابراین اگر 1 در هر 5 مادر داره این تجربه رو میکنه، درصدش خیلی بالاتر از اون چیزی هستش که شما شاید فکر میکنین. بنابراین صحبت بکنین، گفتگو بکنین. کامیونیتی آنلاین خیلی میتونه کمک بکنه. When the Bowel Breaks رو سوشال میدیا، فیسبوک هستش، میتونین حتما جوین بکنین، برین اونجا و گفتگو بکنین، صحبت بکنین، چون مادرانی که در این کامیونیتی هستن همه خیلی باز هستن. They have awareness, they have a desire to want to reach out and help you and connect to you. They consider you part of their tribe, and it's a beautiful thing. So thank you for this beautiful service. This is a public service. This is a public service, and it's very important.
My honor and my pleasure. When after I'd gone through all this and we created this film together, I realized like it's a blessing because now my goal is to help everyone else and let them know they're not alone.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. So what a story. What a story. A warrior mom, Tanya Newbould, producer, and what you've taken with your art and what you've created here is awareness and an opportunity for all you moms out there and dads.
Yes.
Because I believe there is a strong relationship there, right? For dads to understand the other side. So when dads are learning about this, so if you're a dad and you're watching Mom Talk, I welcome you and invite you to go to the Facebook page, right? When the Bowel Breaks, join in, join the conversation and learn, because these are experiences that perhaps your wife, your significant other, or someone you know is going through. And so by gaining more awareness and understanding from the conversations, you can help better, you can be more compassionate, and you can be more connected to your wives and to your lovely moms, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And our film will be coming out in either February or March.
Okay.
So do look for it.
Awesome.
And you can also go to our website, whenthebowelbreaksfilm.com.
Okay.
And that's another wonderful way to stay connected, to see what's going on, to follow us. and be a part of this journey that will help heal you.
Awesome. And you've already got a lot of attention, media attention. I know you've been on red carpets and interviewed on different shows and TV stations. We have a clip, and we'll show you this clip after we'll come back and talk about when the bowel breaks.
All right, as many as 1 in 5 women experience postpartum depression, but many of them don't know when it is time to get help.
A new documentary aims to shed light on the common disorder. It's called When the Bowel Breaks. Take a look.
Women all over the world suffer from this, and it can occur to anybody.
There's a lot of surprises, a lot of things that nobody can prepare you for.
This singular thought just kept playing in my mind, which was, this girl would be better off with another woman as her mother.
And joining us now to talk about the film are actress Tanya Newbould and director Jamie Lynn Lipman, correct? That's a mouthful. It's good to have you both with us.
Yeah, thank you so much. This is maybe a personal and tough topic sometimes to talk about. Tanya, you have experienced this, and also you're the one who decided to possibly put this film together.
Yeah, that's correct. When I had my daughter, I was so happy to have her, and all of a sudden I was completely disconnected, isolated, I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat, and it was so wrong to me to have my own baby and to feel this way. And as I went through this journey, my girlfriend Danielle Harris, who's her godmother, sat me down. She said, "Something's wrong with you." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm tired. I had a baby." And she's like, "Something's wrong with you." And whew, I get emotional just saying it. I start to realize like something is wrong. And then I had the fortune of reading Brooke Shields' book, Down Came the Rain, and that was the first time I went, oh my God, I have postpartum depression. So I started to do research on it and really couldn't find anything. Jamie Lynn and I met because she actually interviewed me for an acting documentary called Died Trying. And I loved her, and I was like, I want to do a documentary about postpartum depression. I want you to direct it. And she said, well, I didn't have it. Let me look into it. And she came back. And
yeah, I put an ad in a local mommy blog, and I had 100 women write me in 24 hours wanting to share their stories. And it broke every stereotype that I ever had, because I didn't know much about it. And I felt like what I thought is what we see in the news and all these horrible tragedies that happen to these kids, and I think that that's what most people associate it with. And when I had all these women reach out, you know, just kind of the same way Tanya was, like just pleading, like there needs to be a documentary like this. There's no information, and we need to do this to help women.
I think it's interesting too. It's not just you know, you read Brooke Shields' book. You had 100 women respond when you put it out there, but it's you know, it's not. It could be anybody, a famous actress, just a typical housewife in the Midwest.
Absolutely. And I thought initially that I'm an older mom, so it's because of that. Nothing to do with it. It affects 1 in 5, 1 in 7 women, and it's pretty powerful when it does.
And does the film give you helpful, or the viewer helpful tips on being able to recognize it?
Absolutely. We cover everything from baby blues to postpartum psychosis and everything in between, and every sort of treatment option.
Okay, where can we see the film?
Our theatrical release will be in Los Angeles in December, and we'll be releasing everywhere in January. So the best thing is to go to our website and subscribe so you can get all the information.
And what's the website real quick?
www.whenthebowelbreaksfilm.com.
Okay.
Great. I know that wasn't easy. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
Known each other a long time. Just full disclosure.
Beautiful. What a great message, what a great story, what a great way to raise awareness on this very important topic, postpartum depression. So for you all who are watching, you're with us, Mom Talk, it is critical that if you are experiencing postpartum depression, that you join the Facebook page When the Bowel Breaks. Get in touch with Tanya or one of the moms who are leading this movement. Reach out, share your story, and get involved. Join the conversation. This is a conversation that is not going anywhere, and we are so honored to have Tanya here in the studio,
Thank
MomTalk.
you.
It is so inspiring. Just listening to your story, I'm getting goosebumps. It's inspiring, and I'm so, so honored and proud to have you here today.
I appreciate that, Nellie. One thing I would like to talk about very quickly is symptoms. How do you know you're experiencing postpartum depression, baby blues, possibly anxiety? I realized with me, 4.5 months in, on my kitchen floor, crying so hard, snot coming out of my nose, going, what is going on? Like, I'm happy I'm having a baby. That's called antenatal depression. It kicks in usually when you're pregnant. There is baby blues, very common, huge adjustment having a new baby, but that usually subsides within a month or so. If you get into anxiety, I would get very afraid at night. I could not sleep. I would have thoughts that would scare me. Never wanted to act on it, but just having thoughts, that is postpartum anxiety. All of this goes under the umbrella of postpartum depression. And then if you actually want to harm your baby or harm yourself, that moves more into postpartum psychosis. And you want to call, whether it be your healthcare professional or someone, immediately. If you feel that at all, do not live with that when you can get help for that. So it's very important to understand when you're feeling these things and it goes beyond a normal, don't be afraid to reach out and get help.
Yeah, very good advice. So be aware, stay connected to your inner state. If you are feeling overwhelmed, if you are feeling like you need help, reach out to a professional and let them assess you. Oftentimes, you know, moms, they feel guilty, or they feel like, no, you know, this is something that I can just get by and it's okay, maybe I'll go for a walk. But if you're having those feelings of depression, if you're feeling really sad, having crying spells and having those thoughts of hurting yourself, or, you know, just really dark thoughts, it's really important that you pay attention to it and seek help and talk to someone, a professional, and really understand that it's more common than you think. So don't feel embarrassed. It is something that happens due to hormonal changes, due to lots of different changes in your body, having a baby and adjusting, and it's biochemical, it's neurological, as well as, you know, other issues. And so if you are open to it and you seek help, you will get better, you will heal. And then you can help other moms who are going through that. And there is a range, like Tanya was saying. So, you know, if you're experiencing postpartum blues, it's still good to have awareness and to talk to moms and to, you know, find out how you can feel better and, you know, this motherhood journey. So don't be afraid to connect and open up and talk to your mom friends and say, hey, like, I've been feeling sad lately, or my sleep is poor, or, you know, and that's many times a lot of us, right?
Absolutely.
We feel like we're not doing enough to self-nourish, or self-compassion is not a regular practice, like self-care, I know oftentimes for us moms is an issue. And so when we talk to each other, oftentimes I've noticed, like, we give each other permission.
Yes.
And it helps, right? You're
does.
like, it's okay, like, you could use a spa day, or you could use, you know, some meditation time, and go for it. You know, I think the more we connect and talk and raise awareness about being healthy and having well-being in our lives, the more we're going to help heal our families and our children and the world. And so it all ties into peace learning and what our mission is about, right? We want to uplift, raise awareness, and have the intention to raise compassion in the world.
Yes, very much.
And this is what you're doing.
Well,
you're bringing so much
thank
compassion
you.
into this awareness and helping moms who are watching now.
Well, and I'm so grateful because through my journey opening up to other moms, it's exactly what you said, someone who I'm so afraid to share a thought or an experience with my child, like, why is this happening? And then I share and they go, oh, my kid does that. Oh, I've had that. And you go, oh, okay, so this is part of it. And you and I were actually just talking about some developmental and things that happen in children at different ages. And the bottom line is, if you keep it to yourself, you don't get to have the experience of realizing you are not alone, and you are not alone. I promise you, but don't be afraid to open up to others.
And it's an important message. It's one that is shared by the Warrior Moms, our tribal sort of group, right? Connecting through tribes, opening up the lines of communication, talking to each other, and not being afraid to share your narrative. یه ریسکیه که من فکر میکنم برای شاید در فرهنگ ما اونقدر این کار رو نمی کنیم یا درد دل و اون رنج هامون رو با هم مطرح نمی کنیم به خاطر حفظ ظاهر یا حفظ اون ظاهر باطن. As part of our culture, you know, there's this epigenetics of not opening up and sharing with strangers.
Yes.
And there is so much benefits when you do reach out, when you do connect, when you are open to moms who are like-minded, they get you. با همدیگه رو میفهمین. شاید قصه و زندگیتون شبیه هم هستش. با همدیگه صحبت و اون گفتگو و رابطه رو که پیدا میکنین خیلی شما رو کمک میکنه. شاید حتی خیلی از اوقات بهتر از رفتن به پیش یک روانشناس. Many times when I talk to moms in my mommy groups, they say, you know, Nelly, like these groups are so much more effective and healing than going to a therapist. Because we have those shared experiences and it's coming from the heart and it's very much connectional and relational.
Well, and also too with the therapist, you have to make an appointment, you have to go, you have to pay for it. Sometimes you need help right in that moment. So to be able to call someone, whether it be a family member or friend, and say, I'm going through this right now, I'm really scared, I have anxiety, I have this, and to have that person basically be able to talk you off a ledge and say, okay, let's talk this through, and you know, or I'll come over, let's go grab a coffee. We need that sense of community. It's so important.
It is so important. So tell us about the sort of next step for you guys. Are you showing the movie in December?
Well, it's now pushed, even though on our KTLA it said December. It's going to be February or March.
Okay.
But we are in negotiation with an amazing company.
Wonderful.
That is going to help us launch this worldwide, which is huge.
That is.
And we did do a premiere at Dances with Films this past June, and this is really interesting. We were given a 2:45 p.m. time slot on a Wednesday, and we all kind of went, okay. Last day of school for a lot of people. We thought we'd have 150 to 180 people. We had 350 people.
Wow.
We got a standing ovation and not a dry eye in the house.
Wow.
And we all just stood there going, okay, wow.
Yeah.
This really does make a difference. And then afterwards, I mean, even my friends who aren't even married or have children, like, what can I do to help? How can I help you get this out there?
That's
because
awesome.
I think there's such a realization of the importance of this issue.
Yes, yes, I love it. I love that you, at these moments or experiences or at this premiere, you're able to actually witness, you know, how this is really going to impact the community. And when you're talking about such a small community here in LA, imagine how it's going to impact the global community.
Absolutely.
Which is so exciting. Like, I'm so excited for you.
I am too. And one of the things that I also would really love to see implemented is a screening process in pregnant women. Like a real true screening process, because I do feel a lot of this does show up, maybe through pregnancy or at least right after the baby is born. And even my daughter's pediatrician said, oh my gosh, Tanya, I had no idea you were going through this. She goes, we actually do have a screening process and none of us ever do it. Because I would take my daughter in, how are you? I'm fine. I'm fine. I wasn't fine at all. And so I think, again, if we can help our healthcare professionals understand that this is very important to talk to the moms and ask them qualifying questions that they can go, it's kind of like what was said even in the trailer, there are warning signs.
Such an important point. So برای خیلی از شما که شاید از ایران با ما هستین یا تماشا میکنین یا از کانادا یا اروپا، شاید پرکتیشنر و پزشکی که پیشش میرین مراجعه میکنین با شما این کارو میکنه و یه سری سوالات و یه سری به اصطلاح اسسمنت یا تشخیص و سنجش هایی دارن که تشخیص بدن که آیا شما در حال پستپارتم دپرشن یا افسردگی پس از زایمان هستین یا خیر. در هر صورت این کار رو شما هم میتونین انجام بدین و تانیا این شیوه یا روش تشخیص رو دنبالش داره میره و میخواد این رو از نظر شاید how will you have this information available to, let's say, someone who joins your community? Are you going to post it? Are you going to so you
Yes.
will be communicating that?
Yes, we will on our website whenthebowelbreaksfilm.com and or again if you follow us on Facebook When the Bowel Breaks, and we're on Twitter as well. Those are ways that we will keep everyone informed and let them know how to stay updated with everything that we're doing.
Fantastic. I will definitely be following you guys and being so connected to this project. I'm so glad, so proud of this movement, Tanya, and what you're doing for the mom community.
Thank you.
It's amazing. It's such a great service, public service, like I said. And so if you are pregnant or you're about to have a baby and you are watching, make sure that you join this community because there'll be questionnaires, there'll be ways that you can perhaps ask your physician, your obstetrician, your pediatrician, the person that you're working with, your practitioner, to become more active in screening you so that they catch it early, because early intervention can help, right? So if you have awareness that, yes, okay, so I am feeling depressed, I am not eating as well, or feeling a lot of anxiety, I'm having these intrusive thoughts, you know, sometimes hallucination, sometimes just lack of attention, concentration. So those symptoms, if you know that you assess them, you know that you're having those symptoms early in the game, then it will be much easier to get help than when you're deeply into it, right? اگه اول مشاهده بکنین و این نشونه ها رو تشخیص بدن و بدونن که شما بله دارین اون حالتهای افسردگی توتون هستش و بیشتر و بیشتر میشه، خیلی خیلی برای شما بهتر هستش و فرزندتون که در دوران اولیه تشخیص و درمان بشه. و خب این از اون کارهایی هستش که اگر بهش توجه بکنین و همسرتون یا خانواده شما رو کمک بکنه، خیلی میتونه در پیشگیری برای شما مفید باشه. خوشبختانه در رابطه با تانیا، godmother و دوست ایشون که خیلی باهاشون نزدیک بود این رو تشخیص داد. So your dear friend noticed it.
She did. Yeah, my she's the godmother to my daughter, Danielle. We had gone to lunch and I could tell it was hard for her. Like she knew she needed to talk to me and she sat me down and she said, something's wrong with you. And I was like, yeah, I just had a baby. I'm tired. Like this is not easy. And she was bawling. She said, no, something's wrong with you. So thank God for someone who was probably very scared to say that to a new mom, but did. And I knew if she was saying it, it had to be true. So then I started to go, okay, well, what is wrong with me? And I then realized Brooke Shields' book that that's what it was postpartum depression. And once you can identify, okay, this is what I have, then that gives you the freedom to go, what can I do to take care of this? Myself personally, I chose to go a holistic route. So I was put on rose hip oil and 5-HTP. And my nutritionist said, this will take 2 weeks. And I am not kidding you. It felt like 2 weeks to the day. I remember being in my kitchen, getting my vitamins, and all of a sudden I was like, I think I'm okay. And that was a turning point. So at 5.5 months, mine shifted. And then I was able to truly enjoy being a mom.
Wow. Awesome. میتونین از روش‌های طبیعی همونطور که تانیا استفاده کرده استفاده بکنین. حتما استفاده از قرص ضد افسردگی نباید تنها راه باشه. ایشون از هولیستیک مدیسن استفاده کردن و برای ایشون خیلی کار کرد. در 2 هفته درمان شدن و احساس کردن که اون افسردگیشون از بین رفته. بنابراین شیوه های مختلف برای درمان وجود داره، ولی چیزی که مهم هستش این هستش که شما باز باشین از این، یا آگاهی داشته باشین از این که بدونین با چه فنومنا، با چه چیزی دارین روبرو میشین. اگر افسردگی هستش یا اضطراب هست یا خیلی از اوقات سایکوسیس میتونه در حالت حاد یا شدیدش باشه که این دسته از این مادرها خیلی از اوقات خودشون یا فرزندشون رو متاسفانه از بین میبرن. بنابراین اگر در یک همچین خانواده‌ای هستین، زندگی میکنین یا دوستی دارین که بچه دار شده یا در دوران بعد از زایمان احساس افسردگی یا به اصطلاح چالش داره، میتونین شما به عنوان یک دوست مثل دوست تانیا او رو کمکش بکنین و باهاش صحبت بکنین. دوست تانیا چون با او خیلی اتونمنت داشت، خیلی با او نزدیک بود و صمیمی بود، این حال رو تشخیص رو داد و خیلی از اوقات وقتی که فرد خودش دچار این افسردگی هستش نمیتونه، آگاهی نداره یا تشخیص خودش بده. بنابراین در این اوقات کسی که با او هستش، همسرش یا خانوادهش یا دوست صمیمیش، میتونه یک همچین کمکی رو به او بکنه و برای همین هم هست که این گروه های مادرها و همگردی این مادرانی که با هم بچه دار میشن و با هم بچه ها بزرگ میشن خیلی خیلی مفید و سازنده هستش در این رابطه. I know the mommy groups that I've been involved with have been such a treasure, like a gift to motherhood, right? Coming together, opening up, talking about our issues, talking about our moods, talking about our relationships with our children. It really is very, very valuable. And I know, I hear from all the emails I get from Iran that these mom groups in Iran now are so popular. Yeah, it's amazing. It's so amazing. I know. It's incredible. So you young moms in all the way from Iran, yay! Good job. Go Peace Learning. You guys are doing awesome. Keep up the great work. It is through moms and courageous women like Tanya Newbould and her journey and her amazing work, wow, that we are here learning, getting connected, and being inspired. And you have no idea that through this program you have probably reached out to so many women who are depressed, who are going through this, and are going to watch and say, oh my goodness, so I am not alone. And here's a mom from the other side of the world, all the way in Los Angeles, who has been courageous enough, who has been brave enough to share her story, to do something about it, and to bring us together all the way on this side of the world, right?
I'm so touched by that, because all I want to do is help you out there. If you're going through this, I really do want you to know you're not alone. There's nothing wrong, that you're going through something and you can get help for it. And our trailer is on YouTube. So if you go to When the Bowel Breaks documentary on YouTube, if you or someone you know you feel is going through this, you can share it. If they have the ability to understand English, they can watch it. And it might hit, you know, if you're going through it, you're going to be moved by it and say, oh, that's me. So we just want to help.
Wonderful. And if you're a producer all the way from Iran, watching all the way from Iran, if you are a producer, a bilingual producer, who are interested in collaborating with Tanya and bridging the gap and, you know, bringing the communications together, right, so that you can connect and perhaps translate or do something so that you can raise awareness for the Iranians and Iranian moms in Iran or all over the world who speak Farsi. That would be such an amazing service.
It really
right?
would be.
So how can they connect with you?
The best way to connect is on our website, whenthebowelbreaksfilm.com, or on Facebook, When the Bowel Breaks, and you can leave us a message and we answer every inquiry, anything that anyone says. Especially Lindsay Gerst, who is one of the producers and main people in the film, she's incredible about getting back to absolutely everyone, and she's now doing some speaking and helping moms everywhere too. So we're really branching out and doing what we can, and Jamie Lynn Littman, who's our incredible director, she's going on to do more films. So I mean, so many good things are coming out of this, and we're just really happy to be here.
Fantastic. So if you'd like to connect, join the Facebook page or go on the website, whenthebowelbreaks.com. I will be also posting and sharing and spreading this news all over social media. So if you are part of the MomTalk community, you can get this information also on MomTalk. And it's just such an honor to be able to share your message with you guys, you all. And از اینکه در این ساعت با ما بودید و در جستجوی معنا برای آن دسته از مادرانی که شاید در رنج هستند در رابطه با افسردگی بعد از زایمان. این برنامه میتونه بسیار مفید باشه، میتونه بسیار کمک بکنه شما رو و با هم در تماس باشین، رابطه برقرار بکنین. امروزه دیگه دنیا خیلی نزدیکتر از چیزی هستش که ما فکر میکردیم. بنابراین از طریق سوشال میدیا، از طریق ایمیل یا وبسایت ایشون تماس بگیرین، کانکت بکنین با مادران و این راه رو با هم دیگه طی بکنین برای اینکه ما با هم بهتر هستیم. We're better together. And thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Until next time, Tanya. Wishing you all the best.
Thank you so much, Nelly. It's been an honor to be here.